we're gonna bring on Tommy Yarrish from DallasCowboys.com as I give the second piece of breaking news we teased, because this is relevant to Tommy, who is a University of Texas grad and followed along with the football team for a while. The breaking news from Mike Roach over at 24/7 Sports. Sources tell 24/7 Sports that Jonte Cook, the 5-star DeSoto product from 2 classes ago, I think it was, he is on his way out of Austin. He's entering the transfer portal and heading out of town. Stacked room, but still, the Jonte Cook time is over in Austin. Tommy, before we talk Cowboys, your initial reaction to the departure of Jonte Cook?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it certainly stinks to see. Jonte is a really talented wide receiver. And the thing with Texas over the last couple of years is that the wide receiver room has just been littered with a lot of talent. And, sometimes guys can't find a way into the rotation. He's a very talented player. You don't just become a 5-star for no reason. So best of luck to him wherever he goes. I think he's going to be very successful in his next endeavor.
Tommy, we haven't had you on the show yet, so give us your life story in 25 words or less.
Born and raised in Chicago, moved to Houston for high school, to the University of Texas for college, and really happy to be here in Dallas covering the Cowboys.
Look at him.
I think he might have actually nailed the 25 words.
Look at that. Polished. He took your instructions to a T. Look at that. See, this is what Nick Eatman was talking about.
Most people do that, and they say, well, and I'm like, well, that's 2 words.
2. You're done right there.
Here, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Exactly. So nailed it.
Careful.
Exactly. All right, Tommy, so as we look at this Cowboys injury report yesterday, obviously CeeDee Lamb, limited participant. That's encouraging. Micah Parsons, limited. Looks like Micah said that he feels like he's confident that he's going to have a shot to play this weekend. We're still waiting on, it looks like, Deron Bland, who is puzzling, just not been available since what they thought was going to be about a 5-week injury. It's kind of lingered now into November. Which guys do you feel confident here as we head into this big Thursday practice? Which guys do you feel confident will be available on Sunday, and which guys will today be a big test for to see if they're going to be ready to go?
I think the most confident guy that I'm confident will play on Sunday is Micah. I think him getting back out there in a limited capacity was a great sign. Hopefully I think the plan is to try and ramp him up, because he said yesterday in the media availability that, when he's back playing, he's back playing. There's no ramp up process in the game. There's no, maybe take a week to get a couple of snaps in, and you get the growing pains of coming back from an injury. He's going to be full go when he comes back. So I think him being limited in practice yesterday was a great sign. Not too worried about Eric Kendricks and Zach Martin. I think those are just more rest days than anything else. So I think they'll be good to go. And then Deron Bland. A couple weeks ago, Steven mentioned with you guys that he had suffered a setback of some sort, and DNP yesterday is not a great sign, I don't think. So I think his participation today is going to be a big one that I'm looking for. But across the board, I think there were, CD, I think he'll be good to go. Jerry said that he's probably going to be good to go with you guys the other day as well. So looking more at Deron Bland today. And then, of course, you want to see Micah Parsons. If he's full today and he's not limited, I think that's your telltale sign. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's limited today and then maybe trying to get him full on Friday or Saturday.
Tommy Yarrish, DallasCowboys.com, brought to you by the WinStar World Casino Resort, proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. When are they going to decide on and what is the process with the decision on whether Dak gets surgery or not? Is it like, how much of that is like, hey, team decision versus his decision? I mean, how does that whole thing work?
I think right now it's more of a process of getting opinions and seeing what all the options are on the table. This has to be, a decision that's kind of made hand in hand. I think Dak's got the leverage because it's his calf. But, you really want to, I think in this process, think about, what's best for Dak long term. Obviously, this is something that you want to heal fully. You don't want to risk any further injury that would keep him out. Say if he, comes back after 4 weeks, but he's still not 100%, and there's a high chance of him injuring it worse than it's already been. And I think that's why you didn't see him return, obviously, on Sunday. But, right now I think it's more of a process of getting more than one opinion, seeing what options are on the table, and then going from there. I think that's why we're seeing the hold off on IR.
Tommy, what do you think is the reason that Dallas is hesitant, it seems like, or has decided to go with Cooper Rush. I guess it may not be hesitancy with Trey Lance, but why do you think they seem so dissuaded from putting Lance in this moment, given that they gave up a 4th-round pick for him a year ago, and he's been here in the building now for quite a bit of time?
I think it's more because Cooper Rush has won this team games in the past. Now, granted, I understand that this team is very different from 2022. I listened to Babe a couple of minutes ago when he was on with you guys, and I think he made some good points. That defense in 2022 was holding the offense to less than 20 points every game and taking the ball away, whereas this group hasn't been able to do that. But Cooper Rush is a veteran quarterback. He's been in this system long enough to where he can come in and win you games still, I think. I think that he has all the abilities to win you games like he has done in the past, in his past 5 starts where he's won you 4, or his past 6 starts, where he's won 5. So I think that there's still confidence in the locker room in Cooper Rush, and that, this team is still trying to win games. They're 3-5. It hasn't been the best start, but they're still trying to win games. They're still trying to push themselves into the playoff picture. They've still got, 7 division games left to play. So the season hasn't been thrown away completely yet. I think that we'll see a little bit of Trey Lance here and there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they brought him in situationally, but you got to understand that Trey Lance hasn't seen in-game regular season NFL snaps in quite a while, and he's trying to still, he has been overcoming injuries throughout the course of his career, and when he's played, he's struggled a bit. So it takes time to, come back into this offense and play at a high level. Cooper Rush has that advantage on him in terms of he's been here longer, but then again, Trey Lance, like you mentioned, you traded a 4th-round pick for him, and he's got the ability with his legs that can potentially change the game here for you. So I think we'll see a little bit of him. It's just in terms of how much over the next couple of weeks, and does it change depending on how games go?
You mentioned that we haven't, Trey hasn't seen in-game snaps in a while, over a year. How many in-season practice snaps does he get in a week? I know you're not allowed to watch that much practice, but do we have any idea how many practice snaps he has seen this year?
The parts of practice that we get to watch, we don't get to see how many, reps he gets in terms of he's got offensive line or he's thrown to receivers. Usually in the media portion of practice, they're kind of off to the side, and they're throwing on the run, and it'll be the usual pecking order is Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, and then Trey Lance comes up, and they're just working on throws at certain spots and things like that. But Trey said to us yesterday that he's been working with the scout team this week and getting those kinds of snaps. I would assume he's getting all the backup snaps in practice too now, considering he is the backup quarterback. So this is going to be a big week for him in terms of getting more acclimated and up to speed in this offense, because now he's getting those valuable reps, and he's getting an uptick in those reps, so that if for whatever reason he's called on to come into the game, he's going to be expected to be ready and understand what he needs to do.
Tommy Yarrish from DallasCowboys.com joining us here on 105 through the Fan. Okay, Tommy, so the Jonathan Mingo trade goes down this week. People are trying to figure out, okay, how much of this is about this season versus, into the future, having 2 years of control after this year. How quickly do you think they're going to get him up to speed and get him ready and have him in there taking meaningful reps?
That's a great question. I think this week will be telling of that. He was going through the onboarding process yesterday, so he didn't practice. As far as I know, Mike McCarthy said in his press conference that he hasn't even met Jonathan yet. So we'll see what happens today with that. But in terms of what that was for, I think it's a little bit of both this season versus next. The next 2 years, you mentioned he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal, so that's obviously big for Dallas in terms of they don't need to go get another receiver for 2 years if they don't want to from that aspect. But it's something that they liked him in the draft process, and they still think that those traits are there over the last 2 years. Obviously, things didn't work out in Carolina. Offensively, a lot of things aren't working out in Carolina. So, it's a fresh start for him, and sometimes that's what players need, fresh starts. And I think Dallas is hoping that fresh start can propel him into a good spot. If he does play this week, I wouldn't expect him to get too many touches since he's still kind of acclimating himself, and especially if today is his first day of practice. He'll only have had 2-3 days of practice with the team. But I would assume he gets worked in a good bit, considering Brandon Cooks is still on IR, although things are looking up for him returning soon. But like you said, Bobby, I think it's a mix of of a plan for this year and a plan for next as well.
Hey, Tommy, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate y'all.